And the first time I brought somebody into my studio was when Doreen Castle was supposed to come to the shop to teach my studio in downtown Sebring. And she was booked for 3 days solid. I had, 3 solid days of people coming from all over the country and the state. And she got snowed in. And so I somehow rigged up my iPad to my computer to whatever, and I not zoomed her in, but I Skyped her in, I guess, for one day of that. So that was the first time that I did it. And I have a large screen TV in my studio. So I've kind of been prepared for it and wanting to do it. So I kind of hopped in when COVID made it necessary. The first thing I wanted to do, I'm really excited about this. This is a color that I've been blending and sharing with all of my students for a really long time. This is the new color from Sculpey. It's called, what was it called? Burnt orange. And it makes the same blend that I've been making forever. I'm so excited now I don't have to do it. It's just blended with white, and it gives me this really nice yellow. Even if I don't want to use the orange part, it gives me this really pretty golden color. And I use it, you'll see it throughout all of my work. I don't really use a yellow, I use this. This is my favorite go-to. So I just wanted to share that because I'm really excited. As soon as I saw it was available, I ordered some straight from Sculpey. It's really fresh. I don't know, maybe they still have it because it's so new. Anyway, I thought I'd share that to start off with. But the Stroppel cane started a really long time ago. I was cleaning up my space, you know, how everybody gets a bunch of stuff hanging all around, and I've been blending and making canes, and I didn't want to throw this stuff away. And so I would clean up my workspace every day and pull all those scraps together and just lay out a sheet of black clay. And I'm going to show you how I do that. And actually, this is kind of the beginning. It got a little more sophisticated, but this is just stuff from the workspace, you know. But what makes mine more stained glass-like is that I use so much black in my canes, and everything is a Skinner blend. I don't have just straight colors. Not that that won't work, but this really, I think, makes it makes mine, I don't know, makes mine look like they do. And so I just laid that piece on there, and then I take a piece of number 9, or the thinnest you can get on your pasta machine. And excuse me, because it's too hard for me to mute. So I'm just going to run this real quick through my pasta machine. On a number 9. I know that's annoying, but it's easier not to do it. And so then I can lay this on, I can patch it. This is really willy-nilly. I don't spend a lot of time on it. And then I just like to squish it down, cut it in half, and you can stack more on if you wanted to, but most of the time I just make one thin thing. And then you can turn it over, put it back together, and that's just a random Stroppel cane. But I like to use bigger pieces than this a lot. And the first time I shared this, I was making it for years, but I was at a retreat and Julie was there, and I was sitting next to Misha Barbie, and I was cleaning up my space, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making a cane out of the scraps." And so she said, "Give me that." And I didn't bring up a picture of that, but she made a couple of pendants using the Stroppel cane, one for her and one for me. Of course, I got the smaller one. I don't know why or how that worked out, but I got the smaller one. But anyway, and then everybody around in the retreat wanted to know what it was and how I did it. And so then once that happened and everybody around the room started making Stroppel canes, I realized that it was something valuable that people would enjoy. So I went home and made a film and put it on my website. And then after it'd been on my website a while, and well, maybe a couple of days, and there's a little story about that too. But a lot of people had watched it, and then Cynthia Tinapple featured it on Polymer Clay Daily, and it really did. I mean, it was amazing. And then I was featured in books and all kinds of things. Hold on a minute. But it was the greatest advertisement I'll ever get, for one thing. I was reading a book on branding at that time, and I could have called it the scrap cane, but I decided to call it the Stroppel cane, which was probably a really smart thing for me to do, because now everybody keep making things out of it and tagging me, and I really appreciate that. So anyway, if I was cleaning up my face, it could either be a like colored way, or it could be just random pieces. These are random pieces, and what I do is I just lay them out like this. And I've seen a lot of people sit there and cut them up and get them really nice, and that kind of defeats the purpose. You know, part of this is not having to do anything but just lay these out. And so the only thing, there is no control, because every time you cut into it, it's going to be different. The only thing that is controllable a little bit is where you place color. You know, so like that doesn't even have any black around it. Not that it matters, but I probably would use pieces that have black.
Alice, I have a question about your color. Are you starting from the same color palette consistently, or are you taking one blue one time, one yellow another time, or do you pretty much stick to process colors or the same palette to start?
About probably 3/4 of the colors are right out of the package, primo. And then the others are colors that I've mixed, and I have been using a lot of souffle because they have some pretty wonderful colors. I'm not the greatest color mixer, and I can't speak sometimes too, but Julie can attest that Misha's that one that Misha Barbie. I don't know if you know who she is. I'm sure you do. But anyway, she can just say, oh, just add a little bit of this, or, oh, just add a little bit of that. And I'm not that person. I have to really mix my colors and try to find, what's going to work before I can use something. So most of the time it's right out of the package, only because there's just so many wonderful colors, I think. But every once in a while, I mix my own. I have to tamp down the oranges. I'm not really happy with the really bright colors. The yellows are kind of wimpy for me, so that's why I made my own golden color. But most of them, and they always come out with something wonderful and new. So, but because I use white in all my blends, and I did that because of my studio, and people, when I first started teaching here, there were people that didn't know anything about polymer clay. They'd never heard of it. And when I first started teaching, I told them to go buy colors, and we were going to do blends. And they came in with a lot of them were watercolor artists. So they would come in with those kind of colors, thinking they were going to mix them, and it just didn't work. They came out muddy and, so after the first couple of classes, I said, no, I'm just going to provide the clay and it's all going to be white. So everything would kind of go together, and so that's kind of what's on all of my canes are pretty much that, because of my studio. Otherwise, I have mixed colors, but other than white, but that's what I do right now. So anyway, once again, this is Stroppel cane.
So I noticed also you're not really concerned about how high or low all the different cane scraps are. Like they don't have to be even in a layer.
No, because I like that organic look. I've seen a lot of people take them and roll them out, and make it really flat. And I do that sometimes, and I'll use it in some of my work, but I like to squish it up like this. Let me get it off of this. It's making noise. But I like to squish it, and make it really kind of organic. So no, I don't worry about the heights or anything. And that's what I said. I've seen people take time to, cut everything nice and neat. And that really defeats the purpose as far as I'm concerned. I want it quick and easy. Talk about quick and easy. That's me. You know, if I can find an easy way to do something, I'm going to do it. And the other thing that's fun, oh, well, I'm going to show you. This is an example of rolling it flat. This is a leaf, and it's got a Stroppel cane as the vein. So you can use it in other ways. And so that's one way that I would roll it flat. Here's some other samples of ways that I use it. These are just bangles. This is just a black background with slices, you know, just one slice put across it. That's the whole thing covered. This is the top of a bowl. This is another fun bracelet. It's just got it along the edge. And this is one that's just totally a Stroppel cane. These are pretty old, but I use a lot of them in my cane mapping pieces. And by the way, Barbara is responsible for that name, because I was going to go teach in Georgia, and she said, "What are you going to call this class?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "What about cane mapping?" And so I said, "Okay," but now I have to explain it every time. It says, "What is cane mapping?"
That's because I do it. So I kind of had that in my mind beforehand.
It just cracked me up. Anyway.
So in other words, you're saying that, you know, like we all just recently saw Carol's presentation where the opening of the stack was repetitive enough to make a pattern. But what you're saying is that you actually recommend that you're not trying to achieve a pattern, that you're basically letting the variation be the enticing appeal.
Exactly. I don't think there's any way to control this with scraps. You know, I mean, I really don't, because every slice is going to be different. The only thing that you can do are these earrings. When you take a slice, you know, and I'm going to show you in a minute, and then you fold it up like that, then those two pieces are going to match, you know, like that. And I'm going to show you how to make some Stroppel cane earrings. And that's free on my school. And I've given the link to y'all to go, and you can look at it anytime you want. But the first thing I'm going to do is show you a Stroppel 2. This is what I came up with later. I just made this one this morning. And this is with scraps and actually a sheet. And I'm going to talk about a sheet in just a minute. Let's see. No, that's weird. These are just scraps, you know, things that I either didn't cut exactly right, or you know, it can be the end of the cane, it can be anything. And I have tons of stuff like this, believe me. You can either use just a straight piece of black, and I like to do it as thin as possible. I always like to roll my black as thin as I can, because I just want to kiss a black. I really like, this is the sheet on this cane, and that sheet there is outlined in black, but it's very thin. You know, if it was thicker, it would really make a difference in the way it looks. So I like it as thin as I can get it. But you can also use a sheet, and that's what I did with this one. And
all right, I love that. So then we can call this the kiss cane.
Kiss of black.
I like that. I think that's very catchy.
Yeah. So this is just a sheet. This is the thickest on my pasta machine, surrounded, you know, covered on both sides with a sheet of black. And I use this in my work all over the place. I use lots of sheets in my caning and in my cane mapping. But I want to make this a little bit longer, so I'm going to run it through the pasta machine this way, just a little bit, because I want to make it a nice long piece so I can make a jelly roll out of this. So hold on, hold your ears. But you could use just a plain color, and it doesn't have to be black, but I use a lot of black in my work. And you could use a fresh cane. You could use an old cane that you didn't like so much, that you think, or one of those canes you made for a class that's humongous and you never know how you're going to use it all. You could use it like this, but I'm just going to lay these, and I don't know, let's see. I could have chosen better color wise. Let me see. No, I'll go ahead and use this. Kind of all my colors kind of go together, except when you get into the reds and pinks and oranges sometimes. But I'm just laying these straight up like this. And they could be thicker, they could be thinner, it doesn't matter. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'll just accent with these pieces for fun. And it's just random. It's just a lot of fun. And especially when you're just trying to use up your scraps, you don't want to throw them away. And this definitely gives you a whole new cane. You can make a bracelet, you can make earrings, you can make a brooch, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. Anyway, so maybe that right there. So like I said, yes, these are all different sizes, heights, and I don't worry about, I'm not going to roll it or anything else. You see they're different heights. You could if you want to do, there's nothing wrong with it, but I like the organic look. Sorry, out of the picture here. And this is an older sheet, so it's starting to crack there a little bit on me. You can see. If you're going to do something really special, you might want to do a fresh sheet of clay. But I'm just going to push this back together a little bit because this is a scrap cane and it really doesn't matter. I had a lady do the cutout letters and I put it on my wall and it's in great big black letters. It really doesn't matter because I had so many people when I was teaching go, well, what about this? And oh, this is wrong. Or oh, look at this. And I just said, doesn't matter. Now see, that's really cracking because this is old, but I'm just going to roll it. But the other secret too, if you're rolling something and it starts to crack, the reason that's doing that, especially when this is that thick, it starts to, as you're rolling it, you're pulling it from underneath. And so that's kind of what makes it crack. So a lot of times I'll put my fingers here and my thumbs there, and I'll push back as I roll with my thumbs. I push that way like that. So I'm not pulling on that bottom sheet so much. And if I have to, I can pick it up and do it this way and push it back together. But like I said, on this, because it's a scrap cane, it really, really doesn't matter. So now I'm going to cut back 45-degree angle just so that that little piece lays down nice and flat. And then I just give it a 1-2 roll to flatten it out a little bit. And then there's that. And then of course, every time you cut it, it's different. Different, but matching. And you can, I just like to push it together like that and make it really wonky and wobbly. I just like the way that looks. So, but there's that. You see, it's different every time. It's fun. This one I made into a square. You can just square it up if you want to, if you need to. Yes. And I don't mind if you open the mics if anybody has any questions. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a well. There's no responses.
No, you're a
I feel like I'm here by myself.
It's like being a DJ in a radio booth,
I guess.
It kind of like the microphone doesn't talk back to you, but definitely, please. I mean, now's the chance for the guild to ask away.
Yeah, ask.
What thickness was the stacked cane, the black peach black? You cut it, you said you started at number 1 and then you cut the 1-inch strip and then you lengthened that.
Oh,
what did you end up with when you were rolling?
Whatever size you want. The thinner you make your pasta machine, the longer this is going to be. So you might gauge it, this is that thick. This one ended up being that thin. So let's see, I went down to a 3. You know, if you get to a 5, it's going to be really thin. You're going to hardly see your sheet. But I didn't want it that thick. But I always leave it at number 1 or 0, the fattest on your pasta machine, and then I can always make it smaller, thinner.
Thank you.
Okay, and like I said, you might take the scraps that you have and kind of gauge how long this is going to be. You know, how many scraps do you have to go on that? But it, like I said, it really doesn't matter. The other thing that's fun to do, if you're going to make if you have extra pieces, these are just random. I have so many pieces. I have so many Stroppel canes. It's kind of scary. Seriously. All right.
So I have a question. When you go out to like the grocery store and you're wearing your Stroppel earrings, do you find that people are attracted to the colors, or the fact that you've got something whimsical hanging from your ears, or that maybe they have never seen polymer clay before and it's sort of like a inquisitive magnet, you know, kind of thing that people are drawn to? And does it, because of the bright colors, are people like willing to approach you and ask you about your earrings?
Well, unfortunately, I can't wear earrings. I do wear necklaces, but my shop, a lot of people come in, you know, we're seasonal. So there are a lot of people from up north, and they absolutely love the bright colors. I mean, that's what they want. That's what they want to buy. They're attracted to those bright colors. I have work from other people in my shop that are more muted colors. They're artists from up north and that kind of thing. And it's terrible. Here are these well-known people that their work is fabulous. And they want the bright colors, you know, they want the Florida thing to take back home with them. So I don't know. They're attracted to the color. Yeah, here in Florida anyway. So hold on a minute. Whoops, went the wrong way. Got big again.
Hey, Alice, when you had your studio, did you used to sell your canes, Stroppel canes? I could see where people would want to buy your canes.
I haven't. I should. I have millions of them, but I just never have. I don't have that many people that are polymer clay people. You know, I mean, I have some that take my classes and come back. I had open Thursday studio days, but you know, most people are just coming in and buying, you know, or just looking around or buying the finished product, not the canes.
You should offer it as like a bonus. You sign up and you'll get a cane.
Oh, well, yeah, I should. Seriously. But that, you know, it's
Just a
that
way to get
same
rid of
thing. It takes time, you know. Anyway, so I'm just going to lay these guys out, pretend like they were on my work surface, and see how dirty they are. I don't care. They've been laying around a while and nobody will ever notice it. But what I do like to do sometimes is if you have leftover little canes, you know, little dots. I have a lot of dots around. This is the end of my, when I do my jelly roll plugs, I cut off those ends and just make dots out of them. And then I use them for all kinds of things. But you can lay them this way on this. I don't want to put that right next to it. And you can even use the scraps from what you just did.
Do you ever find
of the scraps
that you lay something down and you say, oh no, this color is just too dominating, like it's going to pull my eye, you know, like over to that spot?
No.
And so you never
The only thing I do is like these two colors don't really go together. So I probably won't use this pink with that, you know, I just won't use it in this piece. But as far as No. I'm really bad. And so then also black and white, makes a great accent too, just in like that. But this, I'll put these pieces this way. So when I cut into it, you'll end up with a slice of that. Like if you had, all right, say this piece, this is just a cane, a jelly roll. So I wouldn't make it smaller, but I want it to go this way. So I am going to just put it like right there. You see how random this is? It really, anybody can do it, honestly. Anybody.
Have you worked with kids before doing this? I'm just curious.
No, no. I would like, I was with the Art League here in town and did summer program, and I found it really annoying with the kids, the grandmothers just dropped them off, and I have taught a couple of kids that they really were interested. That's the kind of child I want to teach. I don't want to teach the child that, and in this town, you get a lot of kids that come to visit, and I really didn't want to do that. So I haven't. So anyway, I'm just going to roll this guy up and actually, I guess I should cut it. And so I'm pushing this down because it is fat. I mean, it really is. I've got everything sticking up here. And so I'm going to push down as I go, just to keep it from really breaking up too much. Now I'm coming to that big lump, so I'm just going to push down and roll over it. And you can see why I do that, because at the end of the day, I have all this mess. I am a messy person when it comes to polymer. So look at that one. See? And these are those little cross cuts. So if you put, and there's another one. So if you put the canes, if you have leftover canes and you put them this way, you're going to end up with the whole design of that cane in your cut. So there's that. You see how cool that is with all the different colors, I mean, I think so anyway.
It is cool. It's just so pleasing to look at.
And there's that big one that I put in there. So, I mean, it kind of doesn't go, but it does. It's just random. So.
I think there's a natural curiosity that it draws our attention, because it just looks like a candy jar all in one place.
Well, and it's really cool because people do think I planned it. I didn't. That's the good part. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to make some Stroppel earrings. These are kind of fun. Oops, these are kind of fun. And they just use a sheet. And I have lots of sheets here that I saved. These are older. That one's older too. But I'll show you how I make new ones, especially if I'm going to do something that's important to me, like these scrap canes. I don't mind if they, like I said, if they break up a little bit on me. But if I want a piece of fresh, that's nice and soft for something, I'll take my plugs. I always save all of my Stroppel canes and all my Skinner blends in a plug, because these I've had for a couple of weeks. I made for one of my classes, Zoom classes. You see already they're starting to crack. So that means I got to go back into the pasta machine and re-roll them again. Well, I don't want to do that. So I save them in plugs like this. And then I can always cut off a piece and make a sheet out of it, or, make it longer. So let's take this piece that I just made out of that fresh stuff. I'm going to cut it a little bit wider than the rollers on my pasta machine. And I'm going to flatten it out so it doesn't hurt my rollers. This is really soft because it's so fresh, but these pieces would not be so soft.
So
I really
you're
definitely-
saying that by saving it in a plug instead of sheets, that what, the plasticizer doesn't leach out as vulnerable, or
Well, it allows me when I start working with it again, I'm going to be working with it again, you know, so it's going to make the plasticizers, you know, warm up a bit. If it's in the sheet, they crack on me, you know, I don't know about y'all, but they just do. And so this way I can, if I could take this piece, this large piece, and roll it out and make it as long as that Skinner blend piece if I wanted to. But the good thing about this too is with the Skinner blend sheet like this, it's really long. My blend is this long. And I don't want the blend that long. I only want it this long, you know, or maybe I want it smaller. And by having it in the plug, I can control that better, you know. And
you know,
I
I've
make the plug- Mhm.
after 30 years, this is like an aha moment,
Oh.
you know, in terms of I have never seen anybody do this, you know, and basically I got a whole stack of sheets behind me, you know, and the plastic's everywhere on these
Yeah.
sheets. I don't even like the way it looks in my studio. So thank you, Alice, for this
You're welcome.
amazing aha. You know?
You're welcome. Well, it's just easier for me, you know. I mean, that way I have all of these done and they're just sitting there waiting, and I kind of save them like that. And I don't do an accordion, I roll them up, you know. So anyway, so I take this, and because I'm going to make this a little bit thinner, I'll probably only go to a number 8 on my pasta machine with my black, because once I roll it through the pasta machine, the black is going to get thinner and thinner. If I start with a number 9 and I roll it through the pasta machine, the thinner it gets, the more stretched out the black is going to get, and it can end up being gray, you know, and so I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to probably start with a number 7 or 8, but I'm going to go to 8. And it's, again, excuse my motor. So I'm just gonna, and the best thing to do is just to tap it down there on the end, and then you can pull this and stretch it. And of course, the more you stretch it, the thinner, a little thinner it's gonna get, and that's good. And I got a little crack there, but I don't care. Doesn't really matter. And the other thing too is when you put your, especially at this skinny with the black, you don't want to just wad it up. You want to lay it down flat like that, because if you wad it, a lot of air gets in there. And then if you reconstitute it and go back to your pasta machine to roll it to number 9, you'll get all the little bubbles make little tears in it. And it really is a problem if you just wad it up, put too much air in it. So make sure you fold over those scraps. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this over and just trim up my black, because you know black and white is precious today. So I like to save all my little pieces of black, except not with all the other stuff in it. Oh well. And then I'm going to put another layer on this side. And I don't worry if there's any bubbles or any anything else in there. You're going to run it back through the pasta machine on the whitest setting, and you're going to get all of those bubbles out. You see, I have, let's see if I, yeah, see, I've got some bubbles in there, but I'm going to run it back through the pasta machine. It's number 0 on my machine, but it would be the largest on yours. And this is when I need to decide if I run it this way, it's definitely going to get longer. So I think to start off with, I'm going to run it this way so that if I wanted to store it, it would be more compact than too long. So I'm going to run it this way through the pasta machine this time. Like that. And then, since this is that yellow, well, oh, here's what I didn't pay attention to. I am so sorry. This is my, my Skinner blend going from here to here. And I want to make sure that I pay attention to that, because if I run it this way through the pasta machine and make it long this way and want to use it that way, then I'm only going to get, the different colors. I'm not going to get the Skinner blend. So a lot of times I'll use a sheet that doesn't, well, that one does, but I'll use a sheet that doesn't have a Skinner blend in it, just so I don't have to worry about that. But sometimes you want a Skinner blend. Okay. So you just have to be cautious about how you run this through your pasta machine. So I'm going to leave it fat like that. And we're going to make an earring. And what I do is I just make a little jelly roll on the top or the bottom. And I like to get that first piece nice and smooth. And then just make one little jelly roll like that. Well, it's not actually a jelly roll, it's just a roll. Just like that. And then either side, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put, I'm just going to do this orange on this side. And these are really tiny bits. They're not big fat pieces, but they're scraps from the same cane. You see, I'm just laying it on, but if I were cleaning up my space, I would definitely use every single bit and not leave anything. Now that one, I'd probably run this way just because. Okay, and this, now I just kind of squish it together like that. And this piece here, I could, and I think I will, I could either make another jelly roll here, or I can just fold it over. I think I'll just, I don't know, make a little jelly roll and fold it up. Just like that. But the main thing you want to do is get all the bumps out of it. And I can just put this on there if I wanted to.
So do you ever feel like you get air bubbles trapped in there because everything's like so high and so low
But that's why I push it down like this,
uh-huh.
And I push it this way to get rid of those air bubbles. But you can always fix that, I mean, this once you've cut your piece. These earrings are going to be large. But now you can reduce it down, or you can start off with it reduced, all of this reduced to the size you want to start off with. But let's see what we have. And this is probably totally different. I have this for free on my online school. So if you want to go back and refresh yourself, the link is going to be there. And I think maybe I did a little different on my school. It's different every single time. So that would be an earring. This is kind of big. Just depends. I have people that like teeny tiny little earrings, and I have people that like bigger ones. But you can shape it however you wanted to. You can put these two together if you wanted to make, and then reduce it down to make that kind of earring. Anyway, they're a lot of fun, and 1,000 different color combinations. But you see, I'm just pushing them together, and all the air goes out, it just goes away. Any questions? Everybody's Muted.
We're all unwrapped. Anybody can unmute themselves to ask a question, but it
That's
almost
good.
looks like I bet you see surprises each time. It looks a
Oh,
little bit like
yeah.
a flamingo head on
Ah,
the left.
It does.
It's
It
that
looks like
Florida
this.
thing. It just comes right through you.
It does. You're right. Let's see. I could make it into a flamingo. There you go. It is a flamingo. That's
You know,
so funny.
Alice,
Yes.
when you make the earring, do you put a hole at the top or do you ever put your wire in before you bake it?
I'm not because I don't wear earrings, I'm not the greatest earring maker. So, if you would put wonderful wires on this, it would be a lot better than what I put on there. But I just drill a hole, you know. These, I have tons of earrings already made because I do sell a lot here when I'm open, but I haven't made them. So this is a Stroppel earring. This is the same thing. I took a piece of I guess I used the whole thing. I didn't. I took a piece of the, the sheet, and I rolled it up. It was a little bit of leftover, and I rolled it up into a jelly roll. It's the same color, it's the same sheet, and then I just attached it to the top. So, you can use all your scrap because it was just a little scrap left over, and I don't want to throw it away. So I rolled it up into a jelly roll and used it. But I just put a hole right there after I bake it because I think it's just neater, if you drill it. But I think you can make, especially the ear wires. If you make your own ear wires, you can make some really pretty cool ones.
So I have a question because like there's black on the outside of some of your earrings,
Mhm.
but is that sort of because the outside edge then would not be variable as you slice through the cane, or do you find that it just gives a sort of a finish on the edge, or?
Yeah, I just do everything in black. I finish
Mhm.
the edges of everything. That's just me, I've started that, and everything matches, everything goes together. And yes, you're right. It wouldn't be as neat, I don't think, if it didn't have that black on it. Like this would be the side before I put the black on it. And so it would just be random, and it would be okay, but I do cover everything in black. It's just me.
Hey, if the situation calls for it.
Right.
You know?
It works for me, so there you go. Okay. Any other questions? I mean, that's about it on this.
I mean, this is your chance, guys. I know that. I'm so grateful for Alice for joining us today. It was very exciting to, look forward to it. And I don't know if anybody brought Stroppel canes to show her what you've done with them before, but, or even if you've been working along right now, I'm sure Alice would be willing, look forward to seeing it. And actually,
I do have a little slideshow too of my larger work. So, I have that after that. So
very
go ahead.
I would like to say something. When I first started coming to the Blue Ridge Polymer Clay Guild, the Stroppel cane had just emerged on the scene. And of course, I immediately subscribed to Polymer Clay Daily. And it was amazing to me how this idea traveled around the world. And I would check every day. I would Google Stroppel cane, and it'd be in Australia, and it would be in South America, and it would be in all over. And to me, that was such an important insight into what the polymer clay community is like. And it was so encouraging and exciting for me. I want to thank you personally, Alice. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, listen, it was amazing for me. I mean, I was so gratified that people really used it, but everybody has scraps. That's the thing. It was one of those, somebody said, well, why did you give it away for free? And I said, because it's so universal. It's something that everybody can use. Everybody has scrap on their table. So I thought it was wonderful.
Well,
Thank
Alice,
you.
Oh, Barbara, this is Robin. This is a vase that I made about a year or two ago. I don't know if you can see it, if there's enough light. This is all Stroppel. This was also
Nice.
Oh, that is cool.
from some other canes and black bottom.
Great colors. Yeah.
It was just so fun to do your technique.
Oh, thank you.
And I brought a sample too,
Oh, okay.
because I don't know if people can see it in the light or not. And
Okay.
it kind of looks like that it actually is not a Stroppel cane, but it is a Stroppel cane.
Right. Right.
And if you really look closely, you can see the randomness, even though the color is there. And then there was another thing that I have done before, which is basically if I got to playing around with the cane and decided that, you know, like I made a veneer, like you're a vase, Robin, then I actually baked this. So then at a later time, I could go in and decide like where I wanted to cut out an earring or a pendant or whatever. So, I mean, it was even fun to have it laying around in even a bit to tempt me, you know, what I should be doing.
Robin, would you mind holding up your vase again and I'll get the spotlight on you? I just, I didn't get a
I
chance
can
to,
get more light.
Oh, that is cool.
there. Okay. Oh, that's gorgeous.
It is.
Yours was very nice too. It's just amazing what, just the change of colors, how it could change things.
Yeah. And I actually did another vase using the same set of colors, but instead of using black, I used white to put them together. Let me see if I can find that. I haven't unpacked my studio totally yet.
I think if you use a lot of translucent in your work, that white is a good option as well. Oh, that's really pretty.
It's the same colors,
Wow.
but it's with white in between the layers as opposed to the black, believe it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to use black. That's just me, you know, but white works too. Colors work, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
I noticed
Alice,
that
oh, go ahead.
I noticed that white really makes an impact in the roll. At least when I was working on these, the lighter colors just made everything else pop. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see these. Can you see these?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
See, and if I had,
that's what I said about it before, was that
Yeah.
because my Skinner blends are white to whatever color, that really gives it depth, I think. And so go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
no, it made a huge difference, and thank you for that.
Yes.
Well, plus the
Because
fact that you're using.
if you just do colors, you know how that is. And that's what I say in my cane work. If you don't separate them, you know, with darker to lighter, they just blend together, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, we all know that, but the white really adds as well. And the black separation, just that.
Yeah, I have a
kiss
lot of
black
blended.
makes a difference.
So Cheryl Stippich, do you see a reflection of stained glass in this type of work? Is Cheryl there?
Yeah, you have to unmute. There
Here,
you
I'm trying to unmute myself, sorry. Yeah, because when I do stained glass, I put a black patina on because your eye automatically goes to the shiny spot. And so when you cover up the silver, then it goes to the color and you see the patterns more. So it is very similar.
Okay. That's good to know.
I think Diane is, the other Diane is trying to show us some of hers, but she's on mute. Diane, do you want to unmute yourself? There
Am I unmuted now?
There you go. Yes, you're good.
Okay. I've just been doing a little bit, and let's see. Here's two. One cane.
Nice.
Oh, aren't they in the nice deep color? It's nice.
Those are my great earrings too.
Yeah.
And then I did another one. Just lines.
Nice.
And then this was another one.
Very nice.
And then I have, let me see. I already cut this one up pretty much, but ooh,
Oh, yeah. Now there's some Florida colors for you.
Mhm.
this was the first one I did. I liked it. I really liked it. And I just about cut it all up. It's fun.
Ready to make earrings out of it, huh?
Yes, this here isn't the other little one.
Nice. But you see, that's what's so cool about this. This is scraps that you would have put in the scrap pile and eventually made mud out of it. And now you have a cane that you can make something out of to wear or to give away, or, you know, that's what was appealing to me when I first started.
You know what I think I'm going to do is when I put my pieces down on the black, I think I'm going to take a photograph of it, because after I wind it and I get some of the crosses or the various patterns in it, I don't think I'd remember how it was laying,
I
whether it
don't
was
think
next
you're
to the
going
right
to be able
color.
to, I don't think you're going to be able to
No.
reproduce it no matter what you do. Every single one is different,
Oh,
honestly.
not to reproduce a pattern, but like in some of the canes, you laid them a specific way to get
Oh, you mean, yeah.
the look you want.
Well, most of them are just slices like this that you would lay straight down like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that, if you want the design to show, you would lay
Right.
it sideways like this, you know, so your design's coming out this way.
Okay.
Not, this is too big, but, you know, but just little pieces, you know, little scraps.
So Janet,
canes.
when you're done taking your pictures, we're expecting to see it in a manual with plastic
I'm
wrap and very detailed
busy.
instructions and
She's one of those, is she?
and photographs.
Oh, stop it.
And a bind book. I want it bound and I don't want, custom bound.
So I'm just curious, in a show of hands, how many people have made a Stroppel cane? So in other words, raise your hand if you have made a Stroppel cane. And so you can see, Alice, you know, how far and wide we've
Yeah.
been excited
Fabulous.
about having you here. And I certainly thank you. I don't know if we're on a time frame or not,
Mm-mm.
but I think it's been so encouraging just to be able to meet you in person and, you know, right from the horse's mouth, you know, hear what your experience with the cane has been. And so now, actually, if everybody would please put those unmute yourself and put those hands together and really give
Thank
give you a
Thank you.
really
Thank you.
really
Thank you.
because you know
Thanks.
what, whether it's scrap or not, now this is kind of, because you know, this is kind of what I think of when I think of Alice. And
Yeah.
this
that-
is
oh.
special. This is
Thank
special because I've had it for 10 years and it's something that Alice gave me. And this is how I always remember that
Oh, thank you.
my
That was
glass
a long time
is,
ago.
yeah, half full for sure. Half full for sure.
I
So,
do have that little slideshow if you want to see that.
Yeah.
If you have time, if you don't.
yeah.
Sure. And
That's all
Alice,
you.
before you get in the slideshow, I just wanted to let you know that I put your links in the chat to the Teachable website,
Yeah.
and then also to your Zoom workshops. I added
Okay.
that, and then I put the link to your older blog that you
Thank you.
had there. So that's there. And I just wanted to say, it was meant to be that you would come up with this cane. Not that I'm talented enough, but if it was me, we'd be calling it the Palooga cane, because that's my nickname. So hallelujah for Alice. That's all I can say.
But that's all right. My name's hard enough to pronounce, so Julie can tell you. You know, it's Stroppel, Stroppel, whatever, you know. And when I went to Sandy Camp is the name of the retreat out in California. And I was rooming with Misha, and we were checking in. And of course, everybody had this big discussion about how do I pronounce my name, Stroppel, yeah. And it is Stroppel. And when we were checking in, the manager said, and is there anybody else staying with you? And they said, yes. Should I'll be all right. Misha said, yes, Alice Stroppel. And I said, it's Stroppel. And she about died. I know that didn't sound funny, but it was funny at the time. She was mad at me because she was embarrassed about it. Anyway.
Well, it's
It
always
was
fun
fun.
to, yeah,
I
that's
swear
always
it
fun
was
to
fun.
embarrass kids.
That was payback for her giving you the smaller piece.
That's true. That's really true. And my friend that I told you just passed away from COVID, she and her daughter were in someplace, I don't know, and they went into a shop and there was a woman there working with polymer clay and she was making a Stroppel cane. And my friend said, oh, you're making a Stroppel cane. And the woman said, it's a Stroppel cane. And my friend said, yes, but I've known her all her life and it's Stroppel. And she says, I don't care. I'm pronouncing it Stroppel. So, all over.
Puts her
Pretty funny.
artistic.
But anyway, the links are, there's several free things on my Teachable site. There's the Stroppel cane earrings, string portraits, and there's a little card, the first one of the cards, I don't know, during COVID, when COVID first started, I made a bunch of greeting cards. Don't ask me why. I went off and did something different, kind of like Julie's doing now. And anyway, so there's a couple of free things on there. And then the link to my older blog is all of the work I did from 2009 on. There's a lot of weird stuff on there. And then the link to my Zoom classes aren't Zoom classes that are scheduled. They are, it's just a Zoom, not it's a PDF on Google Drive of all of the different classes that I offer. So that's what those links are for.
Wow, that's cool. And I know also too, you were one of the very pioneers in terms of interviewing and filming some of the people that were, at the conferences and things like that.
Yeah, it was fun. I thought I was going to be a reporter, and then I decided I wasn't. I wasn't that good at it. So I did post a few of those up there too. That was fun. But
well, and Amy, did you want to have the slideshow, or how should we arrange that? Or we're new at this, Alice. I'm new at
well,
this.
all you have to do is allow me to share my screen.
Okay.
And
So how long is the slideshow?
not very long. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just showing you the bigger things that I've done and different things that I've done. And I can point out some of the Stroppel canes that I've used in some of those,
Okay.
as well.
Okay, now
So-
it says that anybody can share the screen.
Okay, good. So I am gonna share and go to this
Okay.
and, okay, everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is all of my working large pieces. So you're not just, you don't just have to work little if you feel like branching out. This is just a small 8x10. That's when I did years ago. And this is one of my cane map pieces that I gave to one of my sons. It lives on his wall. These are my large pieces. The one is behind my head up here, and they're 20 by 28. And I sold this one, but this one I'm never going to sell because it's the first one I did and I'm not selling it. I just want to show you how big it is. That's me, obviously, with my mouth open as usual. And that's how big it is. It's a pretty big piece. And this fish in that vase is my first cane map piece. you can see, well, maybe you don't, but they were really ugly canes. And I was trying to figure out what to do with them. Some of my first ones I ever made. And so I made that weird fish and put it on that bowl. And that was the first one I made. And this is a picture of the process of making that big picture. It's all in little pieces and put together like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Awesome.
And this is a 16 by 20, and that's mounted on a black canvas. And that's one of the cane mat pieces, string pieces. This is 16 by 20 canvas. And these are all of the jelly rolls that I made in every single one of the beginners class I gave here in the studio. And I had all of these, just so many of them. So I decided to make something out of them. I made that. When you see how large it is, these are this, different things on my wall out there. And this is a painting just with regular clay that I just softened up and used like a palette knife painting. And this is a framed flamingo, actually. And this is pen and ink on polymer and polymer clay extruded canes. And this is one, I don't know what size it is because I sold it, but the man made me sell it. And that's one I made at retreat when I was there with Julie that first year, I think. And I didn't want to sell it, but he made me. These are big flowers that I made this for my granddaughter. And these are 8 inches across, I think, or maybe they're a little bigger than that, maybe 12. And those are a lot of fun to make. Mm-hmm. And these are they're between, these are cane mapping and pen and ink on polymer, and they're large faces. And that's one of the classes on my school. And they're mounted on cradle boards. And they're a fun thing to work with. They're little wooden plaques that you can buy in a lot of different sizes, but they're easy just to mount it on the cradle board. And that's a frame I bought at IKEA, I think. And then I'm doing tables. This is one from my last table class. And that was a lot of fun. And this is the first one I made. And you can see, I was trying to see if there was any Stroppel canes in this. I think there's one around there, but and there's one right there up in the middle. So I have incorporated Stroppel canes in some of this work as well.
So I have a question. Are you sanding all these things flat?
Absolutely not.
Yes. Okay,
Part
all
of
right,
the-
I'm happy.
Do you seal the top of the table in any way?
No, it's plastic. It's plastic. You're not going to hurt it. The only thing I tell people when I sell one is that you just need to put a coaster on it like you would a fine piece of wood. You're not going to, and don't put anything really, really hot on it. And if you do, use a protective coaster on it. I just haven't had any problem with any of them. This is a stipple effect. And see, that's that color, that golden color that I just got. I use that a lot. And then these are all those circles. And this is actually a face cane from that face cane class with Barbara all those years ago. I've had it sitting around forever. I have my own weird face canes, but finally I said, I got to use it for something. So that's one of Barbara's, it's mine, but it was in Barbara's class that time.
Alice, are you working raw in these large pieces and then putting it in the oven, or are you baking
Yes.
parts of it, or?
Yeah,
And you don't have to give away any
This.
trade secrets, but just,
no, well, this is, I do it on a piece of glass and then I bake it and then I put it back together like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I teach
Wow.
in my big class, exactly how I do it. But
It's just beautiful. I'm just shocked at the scale. I never knew.
yeah,
Is-
I like working big. It's fun.
Are you attaching them to the canvas? Are you using like epoxy sculpt or
Yeah.
something like that?
No, I just use a 2-part epoxy for the canvas.
Okay.
And for the tabletops, I use fusion glue.
Fusion
by
glue.
It's Arlene. And it's like a it's like super glue. It dries pretty fast, but not as fast as super glue. You have time to move it around a little bit, you
Okay.
know. So it gives you a little wiggle time, but it's fast enough so that you don't have to leave it overnight or anything. You know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes and it's done. So when I put those pieces together, I can hold them in place, you know, but I do have time to make sure it's all together before it grabs.
So how do you
No.
part with these things? I mean, do people commission you or do you
No,
have them
I
for
don't take
sale? And
commissions. No, I don't take commissions because what they are envisioning wouldn't be what I ended up doing. So
Mhm.
this one sold, that one sold. That's not a very good picture. I just put that up there. I think I need a better one. That's made with all those jelly rolls. And then I added these balls and I thought that was a really fun table. But this one sold, that one sold. This is one that sold. I sold it before I finished it. And these are cane mat pieces that I baked ahead of time and then stippled around. But most of the time I don't bake things ahead of time, but you can. And then this is a smaller one of the same kind of table. And this one I still have available. A lot of these I just made them and then I closed, you know. This is one that's been featured in other places. This is over a brass lamp. And I bought this lamp up to there and I thought, oh, good, this will fit. I have a full size oven. I said, oh, good, this will fit in the oven. But then when I took it apart, it comes apart in pieces. I mean, every single lamp is put together with all these different pieces. And I'm thinking they must have a warehouse just full of, you know, all different pieces. And then they just make different lamps out of it. So it was really great because then I could bake each one separately and then put them back together. So then I went and bought, all of these things are bought from Habitat or, you know, Goodwill or whatever. And I bought this floor lamp. And so then I turned that floor lamp upside down, the bottom of it, to make this table. Because I really didn't want a lamp. So I got this cool little table.
Great.
And this is a bar cart that I got at a garage sale, and I spray painted it black, of course. You could do whatever you wanted, but and then this tray came with it, so that's the tray that I did went in it. And this is my monster woman. She is 20 inches long, and I bought her on Facebook garage sale, you know, whatever that they have. I buy a lot of stuff on there. And these are all just canes, bits and pieces. I had so many canes from all my classes and stuff. So that's her. And she's plaster of Paris. I was going to paint her face and everything. And then I thought, why? And then there was some marks down here. So I fixed that later with some more canes. There she is in the oven. That's how big she was. I was afraid she wasn't going to fit, but she only cost me $10. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did that right after COVID started too. It was like, took my mind off of it. But this close up, you can see it's not perfect. None of my work ever is, but her hair was painted red, bright red. And so sometimes the red came through, but I don't care. She looks good and I'll probably never sell her anyway. And this is my teapot, you know, that's sculpting on silver. And then this is my big mermaid. I think this was taken with Julie when you were there. And this is Dale's work in the back. I had a reception for Misha and Julie and Dale and Lori. And this is my tourist guy. His name is Oscar. And this is my big Santa that lives at my house right now, but he comes down to the shop when Christmas comes around, except I didn't put him in the window this year. I just didn't have the energy. So polymer clay is wonderful. It is one of my
Alice, thank
favorite
you
things.
so much. We're going to wrap it up
Yep.
because we have some more guild meeting business. But
Sure.
a question about what glue do you use for the glass, and then we'll just wrap it up and move to the, the other.
Glue for the glass.
Yeah, so when you were attaching your polymer clay to the
Well, I
gla-
don't attach it to glass. I attach it to wood, and that's, wood, or the canvas I use.
Oh, the lamp. I think it was the glass lamp. Is the question.
Oh, it was a brass lamp, and I didn't use any glue. As long as you surround the whole thing, with polymer clay, you don't have to glue it.
Wonderful.
It's when it's only just a motif or something that goes on it that you need, pop it off and glue it back on. But the brass lamp was completely surrounded. So,
Okay. Well, Alice, we can't thank
Thank
you
you for
enough
having
for,
me so long. I appreciate it.
yeah, we can't thank you enough for doing this demo for us. I hope all of our guild members go onto Alice's website and buy her tutorials and see what she has. So this is really wonderful. And
I'm sorry I took up so much time. I'm
oh,
sorry.
no, no, no.
No,
that's-
no.
I told
You were the big draw. You were the main attraction. So it
All
was
right,
wonderful. You were able to bring all these people to our meetings. So that is really great.
good. Well, thank you a lot. And I'm going to check out and let y'all have your meeting.
Thank you so much.
Alice, big hugs, big
Hi,
virtual
Alice.
hugs.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Love you
thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, don't sign off. We still need you to stay on. I know now that the good stuff's over. Okay, so Barbara, thank you so much for bringing Alice to us. This was fantastic.
Well, you're welcome. And I should say that next month, which is April, I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do wire and make bales and how to bring your beads to do that. So we'll get materials and information out, and I apologize. I don't know what happened with Jana's information, but I thought I wrote it. I don't know. I have a little issue with cyberspace these days.
Oh, I know.
And so
Yeah,
please
yeah.
forgive me if something doesn't get through in terms of information, then don't be afraid to ask.
So
Because
I'm gonna go ahead for everybody. There'll be on our Facebook page and an email link and additional information about Alice. And so look for your Facebook post or email about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the 2021 online workshops. We're trying to put that together. So I think everybody is more interested in a 2-day workshop. Can you raise up your hands? Do you want a 2-day online workshop? All right, 2 days it is. Okay, I think that's what most of them teach. I mean, I'm sure I could probably find a 1 day, but, and are we good with not the meeting set weekend, but a different weekend in the quarter? Would be Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sundays work for everybody? Show of hands. All right. Thumbs up. Cool. Okay, good. All right. So that's good. So just a couple of notes about the workshops. So when I reached out to Barbara and I reached out to the different instructors, we decided, and the guild will go ahead and create and monitor the sign-up sheet. And we're also going to collect the money. And when I say we, I actually mean Amy. So thank you, Amy, for doing
That's usually it. She's we.
Huh?
I said she is always we.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you're we too, Janet, so.
So Janet and Amy are, going to be collecting the money for the workshop. The workshops will not be recorded by us, and attendees are asked to not post anything on social media platforms. We'll talk to the instructors more about that But we as the guild will not be recording the 2-day workshops. They probably have stuff that you could buy. So we just want to be about that. Okay, so let's go on to the list of instructors. So, we've narrowed it down, and this list is not hard and fast. It's just, these are the people I reached out to when we did our first meeting. I got a bunch of names and I reached out to a bunch of people, and these instructors have responded to me. So Yana Honorova, she can teach us a 2-day workshop, and she is available in the summer or the fall, so we can get her to do one of those. And the classes that she has, them would be Into the Waves, Spiral and Moons, or the Collar and Beads workshop. So I will talk to her more about those workshops. I don't have a price yet. We're still really in the preliminary stages. But if that sounds good to everybody, I'll take the next step of emailing her and seeing if we can get a date and the cost. So does that sound good to definitely have Yana, I think that's how I pronounce it, as one of our instructors for the 2021?
Were
Okay.
you able to get any photographs of the techniques that they're recommending?
Yeah, they all have websites. Yeah, so you can go onto their websites and look at their websites. So for instance, Yana, maybe it's on my iPad. I can put it on a Facebook page, but you can just Google her and you can find her. And she has a workshop page on her website. And those are the ones that, I just pick back from feedback.
Lori, I
Yeah.
can get the websites and post links in the minutes of the meetings, and then they'll be on the Google Drive.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. The next one that came up as an instructor that everybody wanted to see was Bettina Welker.
Yes.
Yes. So this was a question that was brought up. So she can teach, she's in Germany. So if we were to do a workshop, we'd have to start at 9 a.m. because that would be, I think, 3 p.m. her time. So I'd have to really work out the time frame with her, but she did say she needed to start early. The other thing too is I looked at her Etsy site, and she offers a lot of these tutorials on her Etsy site to download. So is that something we want to spend 2 days with? If the workshops are all of the tutorials, whatever she's going to teach us is already available on her websites. So what do y'all think? I mean, and her tutorial is only like $25-30. So why would we pay a 2-day workshop if if people just want to order it? So what do you think?
Does she have anything that is not on her Etsy site that she teaches?
I didn't see any. No.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long are her classes on the Etsy?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they were, I can't remember now. I think they were more PDFs with pictures. Let me see. I have it up. Yeah, I think they were more PDFs with pictures. So we all really like her style. Now, I think I saw somewhere where she was posting something new, but that hasn't come up yet. Because if we don't have Bettina, then we could do, yes, she has tutorials that are out there on Etsy.
Well, my 2 cents is just kind of piggybacking on what Alice said, that even though Alice has the free earring Stroppel cane tutorial, today in the demo, she did it a different way. And, you know, just the tip about the plug instead of the sheet.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Bettina, if she offers smaller classes, like maybe we could just do a 4-hour class for a reasonable amount live, and, you know, do it that way. I don't know if Bettina offers 2-day workshops, but if she has classes or projects that the guild is interested in, you know, I still think it would be, I would like to see a class from her, even though she
Yeah.
offers it on Etsy. But, you know, I don't know what 2-day workshop she has.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
you get a lot more than just the class. You're going to see her design basically and make design decisions. I mean, the other thing is that I'm very hoping that because of COVID, the European instructors are more accessible to everybody. So, I mean, wow, you know, it's just kind of an opportune time to embrace people that we would otherwise have to fly over.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know, Lori, but, and Bettina also has a very long history in Europe with Eberhard Faber, the FEMO. She used to be the FEMO spokesperson for Europe. So she's got another measure of experience that she can share with us that's, you know, that's different. Because
Okay, great. Yeah, I love her work, and I almost downloaded one of her PDFs. So, okay, so I'll continue to reach out to her and see. I think she's available. A lot of them are available. So that's great. Okay, the next one was Carol Blackburn. And I just have to say, I did Clayathon with her, and oh my goodness, I am having the best time playing with her techniques, and I love what she taught. I just loved it. So Carol Blackburn was someone who, you know, got a lot of votes. And she's in London, right? Yeah, so that's someone we could get. So is Carol Blackburn someone we want to pursue?
I'd like to say one other thing about Carol, and it sort of runs with along what I say about Bettina. Carol's process, just the way that she works, is so different than, well, the way I work or the way Alice works. But Carol's process was beyond inspiring. So I mean, it's not necessarily the project or whatever, but her process is really amazing.
I'd love to see Carol Blackburn
she's a
too.
fantastic teacher, and I'd love to do her lidded pots, which would probably incorporate a lot of what she taught at Clayathon because of all the designs or whatever. But so everything she puts out is so gorgeous, and then you also see what a good technician she is. This is terrible, but people that took her class that are posting their pots, oh. Yeah, they're not quite up to Carol's.
To the snuff.
Yeah. Well, she's like Donna Cato in that she touches the clay very little, and that's so key, I think.
I made a bracelet, and so I look at hers, and her lines are so darn straight.
I know. And everything matched.
You don't realize it till you start trying to make it, and then you go, how does she get the line so straight?
And then she cranks them out so effortlessly, and
I just
love her design sense. Is like Bettina. I like a lot of what Bettina does too, but it's that design sense that you gotta just have, that, you know, like Misha has, that I wish I had, but you know, I can get there some of the time, but it's usually a hard path.
And when she used those 3 colors, that was an epiphany to me. I was like, seriously, you don't go out and buy 15, 20 different colors? That was amazing.
Lori, what do you remember what she taught at Clayathon? What was
what she taught on Clayathon? I want to say, if I'm looking at her workshop, she did
a lot of her canes, the different canes. She didn't.
Yeah, but like the Bargello, not so much the sheets. So when
sheets, veneers,
veneers. Veneers. Thank you. So she taught how to take 3 colors and make these amazing Skinner blends, and then slice them and put them together, and then make a hatchet veneer. And then when you did the clayathon, so the 3 days of clayathon, I took her workshop the 4th day, and that's when she did the lidded pots. So she had already done 3 days of teaching her veneers, and then those veneers were used in the lidded pots. And I have to tell you, by half a day, my brain just exploded and I hit a wall. I couldn't even I was like, I had to stop, and my brain just there's so much info. So I'll ask her if she does the lidded pot, but I think a lot of what she does is the veneers leading up to how to do the pots.
But what if we, Lori, what if on the 2 days, we did 1 day of veneers and then came back the next day and used them in the project?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even
do something like
even
that.
something small.
Yeah, 1 day veneers. Yes.
One other thought is I'm taking Jenna Horowitz with Hovanovich, however you pronounce that.
I know.
Her workshop where she has 12 sessions, and she does it really interesting because it's been over 3 months. She does a couple of hours. So she does 2 sessions in a day. So that's 2 of them. So she does one at 11 and one at 4. And so you get the time in between where you get to play with it. So she demonstrates, you get to do it, and you can work along with her as well. And then you come back on at 4 o'clock if you have any questions, and then she does some more. And then you meet maybe, 5 days later or however many days later. And she does the same thing over again. So she selects, several days. I'm not suggesting that we do it that widespread, but what I like about that is that you're able to put it to use in your own studio and your own time without all the distractions of everybody else. And then you kind of come back together.
So right now, we don't really have anybody who's doing, is in that position, which is another thing I was going to talk about. So I'm kind of taking on the position of putting these workshops together, which is fine because I have the time and it's really kind of fun. But I think if we were to tackle something like that over a period of time, I'd probably want somebody in the position. But you know what I would ask, Diane, and to everybody. So something like that, I would love to sign up for. So if you guys could share that information with us, if you hear of a workshop, just post it on Facebook, just send us an email. It could be I don't hear about that stuff. So if you hear about it, I really, really ask everybody to post or email or Instagram, whatever you guys do.
Because I share it somehow.
Share it somehow. Exactly. Okay, so Carol, we have our 3 instructors. The next one was either Jana or Barbara, and Barbara has been so kind to do the free demo for us, so we really appreciate that. Okay, so then I will keep you all posted as far as the time frame and the cost and stuff like that, and then how we'll do the sign up and all of that. So thank you for your feedback. That was good. We'll try to get those on the calendar. The next item, any other questions on list of instructors before I go on?
No, but Lori, I did want to mention, if you would reach out to Heather, she has got a great register form or whatever that made it really, really easy for people to indicate their interest and then sign up. It was really effortless. If you want to do that.
Yeah,
it'll help you out a lot.
I have actually been texting her
Good.
quite a bit, not quite a bit, but yeah, I've been texting her with actually some other stuff too. Okay, she did say something about the retreat, meeting in person retreat, but again, we need someone to manage it, and we need someone in the position, and I don't know if we really want to even plan on that for 2021. Okay. the next thing is, since we're unable to meet in person, the board has decided to postpone or cancel the April Clay Day. Now, I know we all loved that Clay Day. It was so much fun. But part of the joy was all that energy of us getting together and sharing. And so we're not,
Buying stuff.
yeah, so unfortunately, we're not going to do it in April. If we do find that we can meet again in person, which we're hoping we can, then, we can decide to do the Clay date then. And the October one is still to be determined. So we'll see how that goes. That I'm going to let Barbara talk about the upcoming workshops. So she's got a couple of more months scheduled with demos, but Amy has agreed to do a demo for us, so that's fabulous.
So I'll get this down on paper.
Hold on one second, Barb. I just wanted to finish up what I'm doing, and then I'll go to the treasurer. And then, where the heck? Okay, I'll just finish up what I'm doing, and then we'll go from there. So actually, I think I am finished. So that was good. So anything else? Anything else? Members want to? Hey, we're going to do the workshop. So Barbara, could you tell us? I think you sent me the email about where we're going to be with the next couple demos. Thank you.
Okay, so in April, I'm going to demonstrate wire and how to do bales and that kind of thing. It's very basic wire wrapping, but if everybody brings finished beads, then you'll be able to have ways that you can use the wire. And then in May, Terry Walters is going to do a, I guess it's a two-part pendant. She actually put pictures of it on the Facebook group the other day. So it'll involve two different techniques that she has taken from tutorials off of Facebook or the internet, basically. And it is a mokume and a watercolor technique that are combined. So Terry will present that. And then in June, Amy is on our calendar. And Amy, I don't know what you're going to do. So do you know what you're going to do?
Well, I just wanted to say, since you're asking, no, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I just wanted to say thanks to Barb, because if there's anybody else like me who's maybe been in a rut, a polymer rut, or doesn't really have the motivation or doesn't make the time to do it, just thinking about doing it has gotten me so excited.
Oh.
And, I haven't done a demo before with the Zoom thing. So I'm really excited to be able to kind of get a little nudge, because I need a little nudge. So I just want to say thanks. It's a good motivation for me, and I'm happy to share, but whatever it is, it's going to be great. It's just going to be great. I know it, but I won't disappoint you, Barb, and I'll let you know beforehand. But I would just want to encourage anybody else who's maybe feeling a little bit like they could do a demo or they're not sure, is just to try to get out of your comfort zone and contribute. Because I mean, look at all the people here that make up this guild. I mean, each and every member is why this guild is such a great guild. So that's how we do that. But
definitely take the leap, because Amy nudged me to nudge her. So, and she did. And then, I mean, but seriously, please don't underestimate what you have to contribute. I also reached out to Kim Shumanti and I asked her to do a certain cane, and she's like, well, that's like the cane that 1 million people have done. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, if it's been done before or whatever. Everybody brings something unique to the table, definitely. And in July, Barb Verney-Lau said that she would demonstrate something, and we'll be working on that. I don't think it's bad even if 3 people want to get together and work on something together and present it as a group. So then I needed Diane. I think you had mentioned earlier in the year that you wanted to perhaps do something. So can you, are you still planning that? And there was sort of an if for August. You got to unmute yourself. Diane, you have to unmute.
So which Diane are you talking to?
Not Diane Kuhn. I'm sorry. I'll have
That's
senior
okay.
moments.
I've been working with doing wire weaving and things, and this is a very simple bracelet, but that I had done, very delicate, but I could use it where we could use our own polymer clay beads or whatever. But something like this or something a little more complicated, I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of working around it.
It's beautiful. And the guild did, in the earliest meeting say that we wanted to branch out to a few things that were not necessarily polymer. So, I mean, even if someone has something in fiber or, I don't think it's a matter of any kind of, evaluation of what would be appropriate. I think that it's really wonderful to embrace our volunteers and then encourage them, for the event. So Diane, thank you. So is that a go? Then I can put you on August?
Yes, I'd say yes.
Okay. Cool beans. See, I'm getting good at this, Amy.
Yeah, you are.
That's right.
No, I can only do that to my kids,
Now, if you just ask the next person, hey, you want to give me $1 million? I mean, you'll never know. What if they say yes?
I know. Will you marry me? That kind of thing. And then I believe there was one other person. I looked through the notes today. If you have reached out to me, please reach out again, because we're already 3 months into the year. So instead of me rifling through those old emails to find, that information, please don't hesitate to say so again. So we're good to go through August then.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
Okay.
So yes, that's wonderful, because I know that's something we're trying to achieve is. So Barb, thanks, and everybody, thanks so much for volunteering. It's really, really wonderful.
Barbara, were you able to connect with my friend Molly?
Well, Molly wanted to come in person, remember? And
okay.
So, that's a variable at the moment.
Okay.
But she did respond, so that's good. And I believe that if she has metalsmithing skills as well, that'd be very wonderful. So we'll
Molly's a great teacher. I've taken a couple of classes with her. I think she'd be great. We can sign her up. And also, thank you, Barbara, for taking my place. You're doing a great job.
You're welcome. This is easy. So thanks everyone for all the support.
Okay, great. So moving right along. Kim, did you have anything as the VP that you wanted to add to the agenda? Otherwise, we'll have Amy do a treasurer's report.
I have nothing.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Amy, I guess, whatever on the update on the website, whatever.
Sure. Eli and Cheryl and I are masters at WordPress now, in case anybody needs. No, I'm joking. I'm totally not a master, but Eli taught Cheryl and I, and it really is fun to learn something new. We've made some updates and changes. Cheryl, do you want to talk about what we've been doing?
Well, we've been adding pictures and just updating the verbiage that we've had in there. We've got now a library page, which I don't think we had before. We are going to be working on the member pages, so we'll be sending out a form for you to send back some pictures of your work along with your contact information, and it's up to you if you want to put your phone number or your email address or whatever on the website. If anybody has any suggestions, and if anybody has some really good photos that we've had of meetings, that'd be great to have that we can put in our library so we can access it. I think this is going to be really good because it is easy for Amy, myself, or Eli just to get in there and make changes. It's not a big deal like some of the other websites used to be. So we can update things a lot easier and a lot faster.
And hopefully too, this was discussed that we will have a page where all our demonstrators are listed so that you can just go quite easily for links. You know, so that would help as well.
We do. We put in an appreciation page.
Oh, thank you.
So
yeah,
yeah,
Janice listed there with
Janice
her
listed on it, and we'll get Alice on
some
there.
photos. Yeah, and I asked Alice if it's okay for us to do that. You know, I'm sure it is, but I always, anytime you're putting somebody else's name on your own website, I still like to get their permission. But Alice said that's fine. So after today, sometime this week, she'll get a little blurb in there too. But yeah, I encourage everybody to take a look at it. And if you have any good suggestions other than the member pages, which we're going to be working on, you know, please direct them to Cheryl and I.
That's wonderful because that's a lot to take on. And so we really appreciate you taking on that website. It's probably a new career path.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I've probably only skimmed like 0.001% of WordPress. So, and Eli, you know, she's been so available and helpful.
And patient.
So I do appreciate that.
And patient.
You know? Yes, very patient. Yes. We do, well, an update on the projector, you know, basically I don't have a total update. Diane Kuhn offered her projector that she had, and I think we might need a cable or something, but because of the age, Diane said it's roughly 15 years old, that I'd be afraid if something breaks, I don't know, maybe it would just be better if we did want to use one, the guild could invest in one. And again, that's a decision I'm not sure we've made yet between the...
I'm sorry, I kind of dropped the ball on that too. I did get the projector for my son. I just haven't seen how easy it is to hook up.
That's okay, Julie. Well, I appreciate it. If you do get a chance and you have any feedback, let me know. And it may turn out that if the guild decides to get one, we might just want to get our own in case, you know, I don't want to take your son's and then.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to test it.
Yeah.
It was not, it wasn't that expensive, but I just, I you know, I had never really played with it. So yeah. I guess the thing is somehow you have to connect something that takes a picture of it to the computer. You know, I don't know. I'll work on it and I'll get back.
Yeah, and again, and since we're not meeting in person, there's no real rush until we have a better idea of when we're going to be able to get together.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking too that even when we do start getting together, that if we still need to social distance and down the road, perhaps it's something we might want to incorporate. You know, when we have a large crowd and we're all trying to, you know, snuggle around the table. I think another member mentioned before that, you know, it might be a good idea to have anyways. But again, between the projector and most likely the screen that we'll have to put up, it's going to be, you know, $200, $300, $400 possibly. I'm still looking, and it's just a matter of if we want to go that route. And I don't have any experience, so I'm asking a lot of people if they've done this to try to learn more. So, you know, Cheryl.
Well, a simple fix. I mean, I used to do this. I just would bring my big screen TV in.
Yeah.
And then project. But that's, you know, who knows what's going to happen at the end of the year.
Oh, and you know, that's funny. I volunteered at the thrift store and they had a bunch of those big screens available. Well, yeah, you know, you never know. So we'll tackle that as we get more information about being able to get to.
I'm going to be teaching at Campbell the second week in June. And that's what they're going to have us do. They've got stands for us to be able to put our cell phone or iPad, and then it's going to be projected on a big screen. So
Okay.
find out what they're using and how it's done. And I'll have a week-long course in it. So
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Very
good. Well, that's
On
good for
glass?
you.
Yeah.
And Cheryl, how come you're not advertising that on our member loop?
the class is already full.
Oh, well,
Wow.
good. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
But you
So-
know, Cheryl, but Cheryl, I think be a good thing to put that out on our website, because it lets our members know that you're doing the stained glass. And it's also letting other people know, because we have like 150 members on Facebook, that you're in Bavard and this is what you do. And it's just another avenue of who you are and what you make. I think.
And learning about the school. I don't know what schools are out there teaching. So
I think it would,
yeah.
and just say, you know, something to the fact that, you know, I'm excited about the next class I'm taking in June. Unfortunately, it's filled, but I'll be learning more about projectors and we'll bring it back to the club. And it gets that information out there because you are in Brevard and you're there quite a, you know, at the gallery. So I think it would be good.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I think our message of let's share more on postings is great. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, we had 2 new members join. We had another member from Texas. We had Carol Roberts from the previous time, but now we have someone named Diane Foster. I don't think she was here in February. I checked. She's from the Colony, Texas. I don't know where that is. And then we also had member number 50 join. So we reached 50.
Yay.
She's from the Georgia area, Andala Kurd, and I reached out to her a number of different ways. And Linda, I know you were concerned, but she never got back with me, and I didn't see her here today, but she is in the loop for everything. So just so you know, I did try to call her and email her several times.
Actually,
you did what you did.
Yeah, and Angela's
that's all you can do.
Angela's been to the guild. She's actually was here a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
So once you kind of get who she is, then you'll see her again.
Yeah, but we have 50 members, so that's
fantastic. Yeah,
and what a great job, you guys. Great
Diane
job.
Foster is the lady that I dealt with first when I got into polymer clay. So she's one of my friends from out here.
Oh, well, welcome. Welcome to her, and maybe we'll see you next time.
Yeah, she's really awesome. She gets great teachers out here, and she's been in polymer clay for a long time.
Super.
So,
yeah. You know, it's going to be interesting when we have an on-site class. See, we may need a bigger room. That's
nice
really,
problem to have.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I just wanted to, Lori, I'm not sure if you saw in the chat, did you say you were having trouble getting into, Lori Previtt, the Google Drive or the accessing the video? Just call me after the meeting, if you will. And I'll try to, if I don't answer, I'll call you right back, but sometimes it's better to do it over the phone for me. And I can help anybody, you know, email me or call me if anybody has any questions. That's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions for the treasurer?
Is the Diane Foster, is she the one that runs the Healing Hands Facebook group, Carol?
No, she does the polymer clay tutorials.
Polymer clay tutorials, okay.
Yes, that's what she does. Mm-hmm.
I knew I heard of her.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like you need to share that on our Facebook page.
I will definitely do that.
Gee, is that redundant or what? Okay. Wonderful. So Shannon is actually taking a class with Donna Greenberg today. So I'll be taking over just some stuff she has as librarian. So my memory's a little foggy on this one, but I remember there was something about Polymer Weekly. Yeah, that we as a guild were going to order a bunch to get a better price on shipping. So
Right.
we need a count. We need to know how many people are solid on wanting to order Polymer Week. And we need to know pretty quickly. Okay, so then what I'm gonna ask you to do,
Well, what Lori, just as what you might want to do, because some people have left and, couldn't make
Yeah.
the meeting. But if you put an email out and put your exact, put everything you need, either their address, or I don't know if you need their address or what, and then that way people who aren't here can participate, but I definitely am in.
okay,
Me
so.
too. I want the last two.
Oh, okay, so then, let me work. So Shannon is probably gonna put out an email and I'll
Okay.
out to her and say, what info do you need? And we need it by end of day, whatever, Monday or Sunday, so we can wrap that one up. Okay.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so I think that was it. So
Can I ask, has anybody signed up for the Polymer Weekly, their web, that you pay by the month? And is it worth it?
Yeah, they
haven't-
send out a lot. Yeah, I did. I mean,
You
it's,
like
I meant
it?
to and I forgot.
I think it's sort of reflective of the magazine. They have had sculptors as of late, and I think she's really reaching out to a lot of diverse skill sets. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have anything to compare it to. She's not Cynthia Tenapple, in terms of mojo or something of that nature. But I think the European influence is alone interesting, so
Do you feel you're getting value for the subscription?
I think I'm getting what I paid for sure.
Okay, good.
I mean, for me, whether I would sign up with Sage or Cynthia or Polymer Week, actually, to tell you the truth, it's the first time I've actually had access to Polymer Week without going to the guild. So that was my impetus. And they're different. It's different,
Barbara? How
Pardon?
much is it?
You know what? I don't know.
I think it was $15 a month if you pay by the month, or it's $12 a month if you pay for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then what do you get for that? Do you get a class a month, or how is it dispersed?
It's an RRS. It's a feed. So it comes in my box like every 3 days or so. But quite honestly, I probably didn't sign up for a year. I probably signed up so I could experience it and then, decide whether I want to continue. But I think it's pretty reflective of what the magazine itself is. It's very beautiful, well-written, laid out with pretty pictures. It is not tutorial that I have experienced. But you know what? I could go back and revisit more of them if you want an opinion or something. But I think a lot of these things too, you're just going to have to try it, and then see if how you like it.
I have a question about Polymer Clay and Monroe. Is anybody getting any back shipments from them?
I haven't ordered.
Looks like Lori did.
Okay, and has Alice spoke about that burnt orange, and I was on Monroe's site, so I see that they have, cayenne, forest green, mint green, pale blue. They have a whole bunch of new colors. Anybody seen them? Or
Cayenne's been around a while.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great color.
I think Noelle
probably have
posted on Facebook some new colors that she had gotten. So there's new ones out, but they've got new colors coming out. Why can't they come out with the white and black?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why they can't come out with the white and black, if you really want to know. It's because well, especially those two colors, it's because they mix them in vats and they only have like 3 vats. And so their whole production line goes through a cycle. So they don't stop necessarily their production line to say, okay, we ran out of white. We're going to stop our production cycle and then put white in the vat. So I think, it's a company thing, and maybe we can ask Cindy Holt. She would know more specifically, like what the production cycle is. But I mean, that's just the way it goes in the manufacturing of polymer clay.
Well, what she said in part of Clayathon was pretty much is, now they had to shut down, then they had to bring in just real limited number of people. Now they're 24 hours production. But what's happening is there's so many more people buying clay. So, they're producing it 24 hours. And that, I think that was just in the last 2 months. They have just buying out the clay so fast. But, we should ask Sydney to come to one of our meetings because she has so much information. She's the Sculpey rep. So.
I think Cindy's going to be at Atlanta Guild next month or at the end of this month. So I can ask her, I mean, if anybody else is a member of the Atlanta Guild, we can ask her then too and get back with people.
We'll see if she'll come to one of ours. I mean, she had a lot of information that she shared at Playathon.
Yep, we got September, October, November. To tell you the truth, I didn't really want to reach out until we knew who the workshop people were so that I could get sort of past that and then give our guild members opportunity to share what they had. And then the rest of the year when we know whether we're going to be Clayathon or not Clayathon, I'm sorry, Clay Day. But Cindy will definitely, I'm sure that Cindy will respond.
Yeah, even if it's just a 15-minute quick update. Okay, so the other thing is, so we talked about starting some new segments. This was some of my favorite things. I haven't gotten any input from any of the members about wanting to share anything, but I did learn from one of our members, Janet. I think she's still on. Janet, are you still there? Not Janet Hickey. Maybe she had to jump.
Janet Johnson is gone.
She's gone. Okay. So Janet Johnson sent me an email about a show that comes to Asheville, and it looks like they're actually going to be doing their shows in person. It's called G and LW, Gem and Lapidary.
Wholesale.
Wholesale. Thank you.
Long running wholesale.
Okay, so all right, if all you guys know about this, post it.
I don't know about it.
We're going to have lunch, Lori. Lori, I'm going to fill you in. We're going to have lunch, and no, GLW is really quite big, and they also have a show in Franklin.
Oh, I'm so.
So there you go.
Fine in Atlanta.